You don't want to know what time it is.
You don't want to know what time it is.
But you do want to know what wine it is.
Oh my gosh. It's Sangiovese. That's what wine it is. So we are doing a fun little blind tasting here because I realized that there are, I guess when I was researching some more of the European wine regions and what wines they are, I realized that there are a lot of wines, obviously in like France or Italy, where they label it by the region, not by the varietal. Already knew that, but there was one that I just always heard about, and I'm like, I really want to try that, and that was Chianti and Chianti Classico. So we actually went out to eat
At a
2 weeks
local
ago.
Italian
Yeah.
restaurant.
Really good place, and they had a Chianti Classico, and I'm like, I want to try that, and it was really good. Really enjoyed it.
Good.
But also, I'm like, okay, is it just because it's Chianti Classico? I think it's supposed to be good. We're at an Italian restaurant, so we're gonna do a blind tasting, and we have a Chianti Classico, a Chianti Reserva, and I know
In front.
that, yes, the Reserva versus like the Chianti, I might have wanted to get an older age stated Chianti Classico. It's fine, hopefully. And then we just got a basic Sangiovese that someone said was decent. So what we're going to do is we are going to blind these. We're going to taste them, and we're going to kind of go through our notes. You guys will know which one we're tasting. We're not going to know. We're not going to be tasting the same ones at the same time. So it is going to be interesting. It's going to be a little chaotic, but it's going to be interesting. Should have actually, I guess, introduced at the very beginning. Welcome back, or welcome to Whiskey and Wine. I'm Sam.
I'm Heather.
And we like diving into the world of whiskey and wine and making it more approachable for more people. So with that, we're going to get these bottles popped, and we are going to divvy them up. I'm going to show you guys which ones are in which glass, and then I'm going to mix them back up again to some degree, or maybe I won't mix them back up. And I'm going to note which wine charm they each have. So Heather actually made each of these cute little wine charms. You can show them.
There's a lot of different options. Samuel picked the more seasonal ones. I just want to say, right now, I'm having a very specific thought from the movie Princess Bride of like...
Where's the poison?
Yes. But like, it's like, yes, the Chianti Classico. Only a fool would place it next to them, and you're clearly not a fool.
We're actually gonna steal something that I saw from On the Barrel. Love them. Here you go. Sleep mask. No cheating.
No cheating.
But you guys can now see which ones are where, and now I need to copy them down into my phone, otherwise I'm going to forget, and then this whole thing's gonna be for nothing. You can go ahead and take the blindfold off. The wine is all right in front of you.
It's so bright. Let my eyes adjust.
Maybe that's why. If you guys have never watched On the Barrel, you need to go watch their stuff. They're fantastic. But every time when they take the little blindfold, they're like, oh, it's bright.
It really is.
About to find out. I'm going away, guys.
Okay.
Oh no, hair.
The attack.
Downfall of having Velcro and a fro.
It's a very dangerous time.
It is.
Okay.
This one is that one.
Well, I can't say it. Well, I guess you can't see.
I'll tell you guys a little bit about Sangiovese and Chianti Classico. So, obviously, Chianti Classico is made majority from the Sangiovese grape. Chianti is going to have a little bit less of a rigid requirements around it. Okay, you can actually, I guess, just set them behind us.
The bottles.
Oh, that is very bright.
See? It's a thing.
Holy pores!
Well, we can swappy swap.
Yeah,
At the end,
At the
I
end, when we
guess.
know what's what.
Sorry, I'm a Wisconsin girl. Okay, so here's where my dilemma was. I was pouring from above, and I didn't realize the different heights of the stems. So I was trying to line it up initially to like the wine level of these glasses, which clearly isn't,
Not what you should have done.
but you know, it's all about the angle and the perspective. And you know, what can I say? Maybe you'll thank me later.
So like I was saying, there's going to be different levels within your Chianti, within your Chianti Classico. So one of these is going to be a Chianti Reserva, which just means it's aged for a certain amount of time. It's going to be a little bit of a higher standard and quality. And then obviously Chianti Classico is going to be even higher standard. And then the Sangiovese can just be Sangiovese. Actually, I don't even know where that Sangiovese is from, but depending on the location, it's fine. Okay, I guess we're looking.
Well, I just want to know now.
It's Italy as well. So that's going to be around the 70% Sangiovese, and then the rest is going to be a different blend. And then for our Chianti, that is again going to be 70, and for Chianti Classico, it is going to be 80%. They are technically different regions. Yes, one is within the other one, but it's not actually a sub-region of it. There's going to be a lot of sub-regions of Chianti. Chianti Classico is just a region inside of it, but not a sub-region to that region. I know it's really weird.
It's the superior region. Or is it?
We're going to find out. So that is basically what we're trying to find out, is which one of these really presents the best. And I do have the prices of all of these, and we're going to also look at, is it worth the price? So we're probably going to rapidly taste these, and then you're going to hear all of our flavor notes at the very end, but also over on Patreon, I might release this as just a full uncut thing, and you're going to get all of our nonsense as we're doing our tasting. So let's dive into it.
Cheers. Smells like grape. Sorry.
Every time.
So the initial thing I get on the nose, I think recently we've had more California-based wines, which tend to be more fruit-forward. With this being Old World, I don't get as much of fruit on the nose. I think I get like a book, leather. Does it make sense for something to be like a soft cherry? I guess
Yeah, instead of like an abrasive cherry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one smells like fresh laundry.
Interesting. Like linen?
I think so.
These two are very, very similar. I expected to see more of a difference between these, and just going between this one and this one. They are very, very close.
Oh my gosh.
What? Does that one just like hit you way different?
Yeah, this one, like my second one, I was like inhaling and I'm like, I don't know what this is. Maybe fresh laundry. And this one, it's just, I don't know what it punched me with, but it hit me
Something.
there. Yeah.
I would laugh if we accidentally put ours in the same order.
I so hope not. That would be annoying.
It'd be great for editing, and it would be great for you guys.
That would be so fake.
I mean, you can clearly see that we blindfolded and did it. So it's like, that happened. We're just that in sync. I wanted to kind of go over what the basically flavors of Sangiovese typically are. Obviously, we know with Old World, you're going to get a little bit more of like an earthy flavor rather than like if it's coming from New World, where it's usually a little fruitier, especially if it's from California. So, okay, so Sangiovese is going to typically have a 4-body. So this is a scale of 0 to 5. 4 body, 4 alcohol, 5 acidity, 4 tannin, and 1 for sweetness. And the flavors are going to be something like cherry, roasted tomatoes, sweet balsamic, oregano, and espresso. 90% of Sangiovese comes from Italy, and then Argentina, France, USA, and a couple other places follow up afterwards. When it comes to European wines, this is essentially what you're going to always run into. You have the base level grape, so here we have our Sangiovese, and then you're going to have a region that specializes in that, and then that region is going to have different distinctions within it. Again, that can be like the Reserva or anything else that they decide, and each one is going to have to be a different quality. Also, the sub-regions within a region are going to have different quality standards that you have to hit if you want to put that region's name on your bottle. So you can always assume I should say it's more of an assumption that if you see a wine label from Europe and it's got like a ton of information on it down to the location in like the actual vineyard that produced it, and it also has some general region on it, typically that is going to be a higher quality wine. So that's just one thing to kind of keep in mind. And if you are ever curious about what are these wines, if it says like Chablis, Chianti, Bordeaux, I did a little video on it. It's over, actually, I think it's a short on our page as well as on Instagram, TikTok, things like that. But you should check it out because there are a lot of really good wines that you might be cautious to try, but you've already had them, you just haven't had it under that name before. You good to go?
I think I'm just gonna go in the order I drank them.
As in, that is your number one, number two, number three?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with your number three.
Okay.
So which one's number three?
My maple.
Okay, so I put my star as number three. Do you want to know what your maple leaf was?
I do.
Maple leaf was... That's your least favorite?
Is it the Classico?
Is the Chianti Classico.
Oh, wow.
So what did you say
See,
about that one for flavor?
So I thought the nose was really beautifully bold.
Okay.
Kind of forest floor, faint hint of jam. And I guess maybe this is an interesting thing of like what makes it higher quality versus not. The reason why I ultimately ranked it there is the palate was like so smooth. And I think I prefer something with like maybe a little bit more of acidity.
What was star?
Sangiovese.
Sangiovese. So I said this one had a minty leather nose to it with some jammy fruit. The palate was a very bright tart fruit, and I felt it was very imbalanced, so that's why I ranked it so low. And the finish was also very short and left me wanting more. My number two was the candy cane.
Mm-hmm. That was the Reserva.
Oh, look at me. Wow.
Wow.
So for this one, again, I said it had a damp leather kind of smell to it, which was a little weird.
Which one was the mitten for me?
The mitten?
Because I had damp leather.
Camera decided to pause, so we're going to be jumping back in, and I apologize if we missed something. We found that I liked my candy cane one was my number two.
The Reserva.
And that was just the regular Chianti Reserva. And Heather's was also the Chianti Reserva.
Or, no, Reserva was my number one.
Oh, Mittens was your number one?
Yeah.
Oh.
But, like, you said the note of leather, and I was
Gotcha.
like, oh my gosh, that is this.
Yes, it's got this very, like, damp leather nose to it, which is very interesting. It was almost off-putting at first.
So, I agree. But I think the reason why ultimately I liked it the best is because it felt the most confusing.
It had a lot of complexity to it. There was definitely a lot of layers, which was very nice.
Sometimes, if I'm going to just be having, a glass of wine I enjoy when it's
Interesting.
like, has some of those things where it might be initially be like, whoa, this is kind of strange. But then like you keep sipping it. And this one I thought had a good range throughout the palate where I know you mentioned, didn't you say acidity in your notes?
Yeah, so the
this one?
acidity, well, I said acidity for the last one was too high.
Okay.
So for the base Sangiovese, the acidity was way too high for
Okay.
me. But for the Chianti, I liked it a little bit more. It was more well-balanced.
Mm-hmm.
But again, the flavor in comparison to, obviously, the one that I liked the most, it was good, but the finish was just short. There was a lot of complexity on the nose. You can keep going back for more sniffs of it, and you're going to get a different scent each time. And then as you go back and you're sipping on it, it is going to evolve over time as well, which is really, really nice.
On the finish, do you get a slight fruit? That was one I thought, like that was like the essence of like...
Oh, I said dried red fruit.
Yeah, that would work. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just some lingering fruit.
Yeah. Again, the essence of fruit, not fruit. This is not a California wine.
So then my favorite was the Chianti Classico.
Classico.
I ranked Sangiovese last. She ranked it second.
Mm-hmm.
You ranked, wow, this is unbelievably inconclusive.
Because I ranked Classico last. You ranked it first.
Wait.
I ranked the Reserva first, and you ranked it second. So Reserva ends up being the best because
Yeah.
it wasn't last on either of us.
It wasn't last for either of us. So Reserva ends up winning.
Just because it wasn't last.
Yeah.
I think it was the weird complex nose that got us to
What
rank
didn't
it.
you like about
It wasn't that I didn't like it. It just felt too smooth
felt too smooth?
compared
Wait
to
a
the
second.
others. Like the Classico didn't. This was the one where it's.
Heather. We placed our wines in the same order.
Wait, we did?
Classico, Sangiovese, Reserva.
God, stop. I am so upset. I copied you. Next time I'm going first. So I can't be the copycat. I don't know how I did that.
Oh,
I need a
that's
psychologist to
really
explain to me how that just happened.
funny. What I find interesting is that the Reserva won out, which technically is the highest quality that you can have for a Chianti, whereas the Chianti Classico is just Chianti Classico, and this specific vineyard producer, San Felice,
I need to get it.
but this one was recommended at the wine store I went to when I picked up this and the Sangiovese. They were saying this was a really good option. This is a 2021. I thought it was decent, but it's just funny that it literally tied with a Sangiovese from, I'm gonna slaughter this, Terre dei Chieti. Probably slaughtered that, but this is the 2022. If you have to choose between a Chianti and a Chianti Classico, I think if you can get an older age-stated Chianti, which this one is actually the oldest of the group, it's a 2020, and 2020 was a pretty good year for producing wine as far as I know. I know there's some wine nerds out there who can probably correct me on that if I'm wrong. But this delivered. I think saving $10 on a Chianti by getting just a Chianti instead of a Chianti Classico.
Yeah, I mean, I like both. But if you tend to be more sensitive, I don't know. If you tend to just prefer something that's more well-balanced, then maybe the extra for the Classico would be worth it. I would say for me, I would just go with the Chianti.
This has been a lot of fun. I'm exhausted. It has been a very long day. So we're going to cut this here. I'm going to take this and go enjoy my night. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.